Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're here for a special council meeting on March 21st, I believe the date is, yes. And we will go right into it. So without further ado, we have with us Councillor Shane Pelletier, Councillor Joelle Lemoine, Councillor Jason Bodnerchuk. I don't see Councillor Janine Boulanger, but I'm sure she's here, just maybe not on my screen. We have with us our CAO, Mitch Duval, and myself, Mayor Chris Ewan. So item number 1, special meeting call to order. Do I have a mover? Councillor Joelle Lemoine, second.
Councillor Boulanger.
Thank you. Councillor Bodnerchuk took that one. Any questions before we open the meeting? No, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, just say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. That meeting is now open at 11:33 p.m. Item 2, noise exemption request by Imperial Oil. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
Councillor Boulanger.
Second by Councillor Boulanger. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. CEO.
All right. So basically, a request was received from Imperial Oil regarding an exemption regarding our noise bylaw, according to Section 8 of Bylaw 4/2023. There's no procedures in place as to how to notify the people, so I'll just give council a brief overview of what we've done. So in discussions with Imperial Oil and where the construction site is to be determined, we then try to send notices, emergency notices via email to the surrounding 150 meters of the construction site area. So those were done yesterday, and here we are this morning. So basically, your worship, it's almost like a public hearing where you would hear from the applicant and then anybody else who is in favor or against, and then council would then close that public hearing and then proceed to debate the resolution that you have before you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So I will open that public hearing at 11:34 a.m. Is there anyone wishing to make presentation on the phone with us right now or online?
That would be myself. So Jared Ensrempel with Imperial Oil.
Thanks, Jared. Go ahead.
Okay. So in summary, Imperial is seeking a noise exemption for the bylaw within the RM of Reshow for the purposes of horizontally directionally drilling pipeline replacement infrastructure beneath the Red River. If it's helpful, I can present a map area of the requested space.
If council would like to see it, I know where it is, but sure, pop it up there.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Bear with me. Please let me know when that's available or visible.
We're good.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing here is a representation of our existing pipeline infrastructure. So it's both an 8-inch and a 10-inch. The hatch line is representative of the 8-inch. The more solid line is the 10-inch. As you can see, they more or less follow each other as far as the routing goes. The intent for the purposes of being minimally invasive to the Red River is horizontal directionally drilled. It's a accepted practice by the Department of Fisheries and Oceans as far as ensuring that there's no degradation or impact to the existing waterway. So the intent at this time is to situate a drilling rig somewhere in this space here, if you can see my cursor, and drill underneath the river. We're expecting an approximately 20 to 30 meter depth beneath the Red River as far as its deepest point. And then we will be exiting on this side here and stringing pipe together and pulling it back underneath the river. If there's need for additional information, that can be found on Imperial's website. We have an infographic and a video that accompanies. The expected time frame for this activity is loosely around April 23rd For those who aren't aware, the pipeline infrastructure is currently shut in. We've cleaned and purged the pipeline infrastructure, so it is not in service. But this is a critical piece of infrastructure for Manitobans at large, as well as Northern Ontario, for the purposes of moving gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel for daily supply. So the expected timeline as far as the HDD activity, which is a 24-hour activity, this is critical for the purposes of maintaining the integrity of the wellbore underneath the river. When you stop and start that activity, then you can start to see sloughing and degradation of the drill path, and so that can further, as well as can further extend the time frame for us to complete this critical work. The decibel level is expected to be about 85 to 100 decibels. What that can be compared to is a commercial lawnmower for comparison purposes. But like I said, this is a 24-hour operation and is critical. The timeline, like I said, is approximately April 23rd, but we're looking for a little bit of extra buffer on either side, and the duration is expected to be approximately 3 weeks from that date of starting to the date of completion for the HDD activity. The full activity for construction purposes will probably take 3 months, but the exemption we're seeking is for strictly that 3-week approximate timeline.
Perfect. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate it. Council, do you have any questions for the presentation or the applicant? Mitch?
So the drilling, from my understanding, will be done only from the east side, and once you get to the west side, everything's going to be pulled back. So there'll be less noise on the west side, or no noise on the west side?
There will be construction noise, but not to that same expected decibel level. The 85 to 100 is the highest point.
Okay, and as far as time frame, you mentioned April 23rd for 3 weeks there, give or take on that end of things?
That's right, yeah, approximately 23 days.
That's the start date or end date?
Start date would be April 23rd.
Oh, okay.
Expected.
Perfect. Anything else?
Are there plans for noise mitigation as well in the area?
Yeah, the intent is for there to be consideration around noise baffling that may include additional mufflers, CCANs to mitigate light pollution, noise pollution. But ultimately, the project, due to its critical time frame, we are having to push that forward. But that is certainly a consideration.
Anything else from council?
Just a confirmation again on date, April and not March 23rd?
April 23rd.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Jared. I appreciate it. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor, in person, online, or on the phone? Anything received?
Nothing received, no.
Anyone wishing to speak against, online, on the phone, or in person? I see one person has their hand raised. Unfortunately, my screen is too small. I can't see who it is. So just unmute your microphone, turn on your video, and say your name, please.
My name is Jennifer Bartman, and I have a question first, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when that map was up, my property, 1187 Brodeur Boulevard, is on the east side of the river. The pipeline does come on to my property. So part of it is on my property and part of it is beside my property. And as I understand this to be what's being proposed is a 24-hour construction zone, which is going to be loud, as we've heard, is the loudest on the east side. And I assume there will be lighting at night and that kind of stuff to facilitate 24-hour construction. I live and I work here. So given that it's hard to be in favor of that and, you know, to be living next to and in a construction zone, the question that I have is how residents in my situation, I mean, how our situation is going to be addressed.
So,
If I may speak
yeah, go ahead.
to assist. So Jennifer, certainly appreciate your level of concern. You and I have also been in email communication. I think as far as discussions go, Imperial is willing to put what makes best sense on the table, and that could include temporarily relocating for the purposes of that 24-hour operation, and that's a cost Imperial is willing to assume.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
So I'll just to close the loop then, that's information that I'll await. You know, like I said, it's difficult when you're right next to this construction zone to say, you know, yes, I'm in favor of 24-hour construction and noise. So I just wanted to raise that question for clarification and to say that I'll be awaiting that for review and discussion.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think Jared will contact you, and that'll be off of the arm of Richot and into the hands of Imperial Oil, correct, Jared?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. Is there anyone else, or Jennifer, did you have anything else to say or add?
No, I don't think so. Just with the other comment that was made in passing regarding environmental matters, I mean, I would think that would be a concern of the RM as well, given that there are wells in the area, you know, given that it is a pipeline that we're dealing with, given that the spring thaw is around the corner and we don't know how much water will be in that area. I've lived here for over 20 years, so I'm pretty familiar with what can happen in the spring thaw. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Thank you.
I appreciate the comments. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak against online, on the phone, or in person? Anything received?
No, nothing received. Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. Anyone wanting to make any final comments, ask any general questions, speak in favor or against online, on the phone, or in person? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 11:44 a.m. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger.
We don't receive these types of requests very often. Even when we did the St. Adolphe Dike extension, that was all done during regular construction hours. So it is one of the out of the norms for us, for administration. I did find an example that dated back to 2003. So the resolution is kind of right now, as you see it, open-ended because we did not know of the dates. So I would like council's input on the dates, but basically it would say that be it resolved that council approves the exemption request under the authority of section 9 of bylaw 4-2023, subject to the following conditions: that Imperial Oil or their contractors may operate drilling construction for 24 hours a day between blank and blank. That the applicant will take all prudent measures to mitigate noise, and I will also add lighting to that effect. 3, that the applicant shall control all dust and debris associated with the operation. And 4, that the applicant must repair or damage to any municipal road infrastructures to the Public Works will inspect that infrastructure, ensure that all repairs have been made to the satisfaction of the municipality. And Imperial Oil and the municipality have been in discussions regarding these conditions.
Perfect. Thank you. And Mr. Zeo, you said you wanted council to determine the timeline, the dates. Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, and knowing construction and sometimes the delays and the headaches that go with it, I know that Imperial is asking April 23rd 3rd for a 3-week period. Calendar here, I would say starting from the Monday, the 22nd, I might just make that recommendation and let council debate April 22nd. And then 3 weeks would be 1, 2, 3 brings us to May 10th. If we go to May 17th, that way it gives them a 4-week window. And hopefully everybody's okay with that, and Imperial Oil can do what they need to do within that 4-week window.
Okay, perfect. So that'll be my recommendation, April 22nd to May 17th. Council, any issues with that?
Done here.
Okay, I'll open it up for any other debate or comments, council.
I just asked that just to keep us advised if you think it's going to go longer than that. That's the main thing, just because of the noise issue to some residents like Miss Bartman and stuff. Like, just hopefully you guys can mitigate as much noise as you possibly can, since it is a 24-hour operation. Yeah, I just really want his noise mitigated as much as possible for those residents in that area.
Okay, thank you.
That's acknowledged and appreciated.
Thank you. Councillor Belanger, you said you had a question?
Yeah, I was muted, sorry. Just back to the whole flood issues. So if we have these dates on this resolution and for some reason it has to be pushed back, do we have to have another meeting, or is there a potential to change the dates? Sorry, I had technical difficulties earlier, so maybe you guys have already addressed this, but if not, I was just wondering if you could address that.
Well, plan A is no flooding, hopefully. And if there is the severity of it, hopefully again not. If we do start April 22nd, we'll have, I think at the April 22nd date, Imperial Oil will know if it's a go or a no-go based on spring forecasts and everything else that the province will have. So I think it's play it by ear for now. They may not start on the 22nd, but hopefully everything goes as scheduled.
Yeah, I guess I was just saying, if not as scheduled, do we have to come back and redo the dates for the resolution?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
say so. That way we would have to amend. Once you amend, you have to do a new public hearing. So.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, anything else from council? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye, aye, aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Aye.
Aye, sorry. That is any opposed? Sorry, any opposed? None. That is carried 5-all. Thank you. And we will go to item 3, adjournment. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
Councillor Lemoine moves, second by Councillor Pelletier. Thank you. Any final comments? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
hey.
Aye.
Opposed? None. That is carried. I'll close the meeting at 11:50 a.m. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending, and have a great day. Please stop recording.